My parents took my savings for bills. The money was gone, all of it. Every single dollar I'd saved since I was 14 vanished from my account like it never existed. And when I confronted them, when I stood there shaking with my phone in my hand showing them the empty balance, my mother looked me dead in the eye and said, "We needed it for bills, sweetheart. You understand, don't you?" But here's the thing about lies, they always leave a trail, and sometimes that trail leads you to a place you wish you'd never found. If you've ever felt betrayed by the people who were supposed to protect you, please hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me I'm not crazy for what I'm about to tell you, because honestly, I still can't believe this happened. I should probably back up. 3 months ago, I was excited. Genuinely, stupidly excited about my future. I'd been saving money since my first part-time job at Riley's Diner when I was 14. Every paycheck, every birthday gift, every dollar I could squirrel away went into that savings account. By the time I turned 22, I had almost $38,000 saved up. $38,000. That money was supposed to be my escape route, my ticket to a life I'd been dreaming about since I was old enough to realize that staying in my small hometown of Millbrook forever wasn't the life I wanted. I'd been planning to move to Seattle, enroll in a graphic design program, and finally start living on my own terms. But I made one critical mistake. When I opened that savings account at 16, my parents insisted on being joint account holders. "Just in case something happens to you," my dad had said, his hand heavy on my shoulder. "We want to make sure we can access it if there's an emergency." I was 16, I trusted them, why wouldn't I? For 6 years, that account sat there growing slowly but steadily. My parents never touched it, not once. They'd occasionally ask how much I'd saved, seemed proud even. My mom would brag to her friends about how responsible I was, how disciplined. "Amber's going places," she'd say, smiling that smile that used to make me feel warm inside. "She's got her whole future planned out." Yeah, I did have it planned out. Until May 14th. I remember the date because it was exactly 1 week after I'd given my notice at the diner. I was planning to move to Seattle by the end of June, and I'd started looking at apartments online. Small studios, nothing fancy, but they were mine, or they would be. I was sitting at my desk in my childhood bedroom, the same room I'd been in since I was 7, with its faded purple walls and the glow-in-the-dark stars I'd stuck to the ceiling, when I decided to check my account balance. I wanted to calculate exactly how much I'd have left after the security deposit and first month's rent on this perfect little studio I'd found near Capitol Hill. I logged into my banking app, waited for the screen to load. And then my entire world stopped. Account balance, $247.63. I stared at the number, blinked, refreshed the page. $247.63. That couldn't be right. That couldn't possibly be right. Just 2 weeks ago, I'd checked and had $37,891. I'd been so proud of that number, so close to $40,000. My hands started shaking as I scrolled down to the transaction history. May 12th transfer to Amber Mitchell, joint holder, $37,000. May 12th ATM withdrawal, $500. May 13th transfer to Amber Mitchell, joint holder, $144.37. My mother's name, the joint holder, was my mother. I couldn't breathe. The room suddenly felt too small, too hot. My vision blurred at the edges, and for a second I thought I might actually pass out. $37,000, gone, transferred out in 2 clean swipes. I don't remember walking downstairs. I don't remember the seconds between seeing that screen and standing in the kitchen doorway, phone clutched in my trembling hand. But suddenly I was there, and my parents were sitting at the kitchen table, my dad reading something on his tablet, my mom scrolling through her phone. They looked so normal, so casual, like they hadn't just destroyed my entire future. "Where's my money?" My voice came out strangled, barely above a whisper. My mom looked up, her expression confused, innocent. "What, honey?" "My savings account, where is it? Where's my money?" I watched my parents exchange a glance, one of those married couple glances where entire conversations happen in a split second. My dad set down his tablet. My mom put her phone face down on the table. "Amber, sweetie, come sit down," my mom gestured to the empty chair. I don't want to sit down, I want to know where my $37,000 went. My dad cleared his throat, we needed to borrow it. Borrow it? I could hear my voice rising, cracking. Borrow it? You didn't ask, you just took it, all of it. We were going to tell you, my mom said softly, reaching out like she wanted to touch my hand. I led back. We've been having some financial troubles. The mortgage payment increased, your father's truck needed repairs, and we had some medical bills. I don't care. The words came out sharp, harder than I'd ever spoken to my parents. That was my money. I've been saving that for 6 years, and you just took it. We'll pay you back, my dad said, but he wouldn't meet my eyes. It's just temporary once we get back on our feet. When? I demanded. When are you going to pay me back? I'm supposed to move to Seattle in 6 weeks. 6 weeks, I already gave my notice. I already found an apartment. How am I supposed to do that with $200? Maybe this is a sign, my mom said, and something about her tone made my blood run cold. Maybe Seattle isn't the right move right now. You could stay here, keep working at the diner, save up again. Are you serious? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You want me to stay here, that's what this is about. We're not getting any younger, my dad interjected. It would be nice to have you close by, and let's be honest, Amber, Seattle is expensive. Do you really think you could make it out there? The betrayal hit me in waves. They didn't just take my money, they took it specifically to trap me here. This is insane, I whispered. You stole from me. We didn't steal, my mom said firmly. We're your parents, we have every legal right to that account, and we needed it for bills for this family. I'm not part of this family anymore. I said it without thinking, but the moment the words left my mouth, I meant them, every single syllable. My mom's face crumpled. Amber, don't say that. Give me back my money. We don't have it, my dad said flatly. It's gone. We paid the mortgage, fixed the truck, covered the bills, it's spent. Then I'll take you to court. With what money? My dad's voice had an edge now. You can't afford a lawyer, sweetheart, and like your mother said, we had every legal right to access that account. You won't win. He was right, I knew he was right, and that made everything so much worse. I went back to my room, locked the door, and cried until I thought I might actually break apart. The next few days were a blur. I called the bank, hoping there was some mistake, some way to reverse the transfers. But the representative confirmed what my parents had said. As joint account holders, they had full legal access to the funds. There was nothing I could do. I called the apartment complex in Seattle and told them I couldn't take the studio. The woman on the phone was sympathetic but firm. They'd keep my application fee, $200 I'd never see again. I went back to the diner and begged for my job back. Riley, the owner, was understanding. Your shift's still here if you want it, he said. Though I already hired someone else for the full-time position, best I can do is part-time. So I took it because what choice did I have? My parents acted like nothing had happened, like they hadn't just stolen my entire future. My mom made my favorite dinner, chicken parmesan, 2 nights after the confrontation. My dad asked if I wanted to watch a movie with them. They were trying to pretend everything was normal, and it made me want to scream. I started looking for a second job, started calculating how long it would take to save $37,000 again. At my hourly rate, working part-time with rent to pay my parents for still living at home. 7 years, maybe 8. I'd be 30 before I could try again. The anger was a living thing inside me, hot and constant. I couldn't look at my parents without feeling it rise up in my throat, couldn't sit at the dinner table without wanting to flip it over, so I started avoiding them, taking extra shifts, staying in my room when I was home. And then, 3 weeks after they took my money, I was scrolling through Facebook during my break at the diner. That's when I saw it. My Aunt Linda, my mom's sister, had posted a photo. A beach photo. Crystal blue water, white sand, palm trees swaying in the background, and right there in the center of the frame, grinning like they didn't have a care in the world, were my parents. The caption read, "So happy for David and Janet. Enjoy your dream vacation to Maui, you two deserve it." I stared at that photo for a full minute before the reality of it hit me. Maui. They took my money for bills, for the mortgage, for medical expenses. And they were in Maui. My hand started shaking so badly I nearly dropped my phone. I clicked on the photo, zoomed in. There was my dad in a bright tropical shirt I'd never seen before. There was my mom in a sundress, a flower tucked behind her ear, wearing sunglasses that probably cost more than my weekly paycheck. They looked happy, relaxed, like people on a dream vacation. A dream vacation they paid for with my money. I scrolled through my aunt's Facebook page frantically. There were more photos, my parents at a luau, my parents on a boat, my parents drinking cocktails with little umbrellas, my parents hiking through some lush green trail. Each photo was tagged with the location, Maui, Hawaii. Each photo was dated. They'd been there for 4 days already. I clicked on my mom's Facebook profile, something I rarely did. She'd made a post from 3 weeks ago. Can't wait for our trip to Maui. David and I have been dreaming about this for years. Sometimes you just have to treat yourself. Treat yourself. With your daughter's stolen money. I felt something crack inside me, not break, crack, like ice on a frozen lake when you step on a weak spot. That first sharp sound before everything gives way. They'd planned this. This wasn't some emergency decision. They'd been planning this trip while I was saving every penny, while I was picking up double shifts and eating ramen for dinner to put more money away, while I was dreaming about my future in Seattle. They'd looked me in the eye and lied about bills. About the mortgage. About medical expenses. And then they'd flown to Hawaii. I took a screenshot of every single photo, every post, every comment from friends and family congratulating them on their vacation. Then I logged out of Facebook before I did something I'd regret, like commenting on every single post with the truth. My break was over, but I couldn't move. I just sat there in the back room of the diner, staring at my phone, that crack inside me spreading wider and wider. Riley poked his head in. "You okay, kid? Table 4's waiting." "Yeah," I heard myself say, "I'm fine." But I wasn't fine. I wasn't anywhere close to fine. I didn't confront them immediately. I couldn't, because they weren't home. They were living it up in Maui on my dime, posting photos every day like they were travel influencers, like they hadn't just committed the ultimate betrayal. I had 6 days before they came back, 6 days to sit with this knowledge, 6 days for the anger to ferment into something darker, something colder. I spent those 6 days planning. See, my parents were right about one thing. I couldn't afford a lawyer. I couldn't take them to court, but what I could do was make sure everyone knew exactly what they'd done. Because my parents cared about their reputation, my mom was active in the church community. My dad coached Little League. They were pillars of our small town, the kind of people everyone thought were good, decent, honest. They'd stolen from their own daughter and lied about it. And I was going to make sure the whole town knew. I started with documentation. I took screenshots of my bank statements showing the balance before and after the transfers. I saved every text message where they'd claimed it was for bills and emergencies. I downloaded every single Facebook photo from their Maui trip. Then I wrote it all down, every detail, every lie, the timeline of events, the amounts, the promises to pay me back that I knew would never materialize. I created a file on my laptop titled "The Truth About David and Janet Mitchell." And I waited. On day 5, my mom posted a photo at the airport with the caption, "Sad to leave paradise but excited to come home." One more day. I could wait one more day. That night, I lay in my childhood bed staring at those glow-in-the-dark stars, and I thought about who I used to be, the girl who trusted her parents, the girl who believed that family meant something, the girl who thought she had a future. That girl was gone. My parents had killed her the moment they transferred that money. The person lying in this bed now, she was someone new, someone harder, someone who understood that blood didn't mean loyalty and love could be conditional, and sometimes the people who gave you life could also take it away. I didn't sleep that night. I just waited for morning. For the moment my parents would walk through that door with their tans and their lies. For the moment I would finally make them face what they'd done. The next afternoon, I heard their car pull into the driveway, heard their laughter as they unloaded their suitcases, heard my mom's voice calling up the stairs, "Amber, honey, we're home." Like she was expecting me to come running down, like she thought I'd be happy to see them. I walked down those stairs slowly, carefully, my phone in my pocket heavy with evidence. They were in the living room, surrounded by luggage. My dad was showing my mom something on his phone, probably more vacation photos. They both looked up when I entered. There she is, my mom's smile was bright, genuine. We missed you, we brought you back a gift. How was Maui? The smile faltered just for a second, just long enough for me to know she understood. What? Her voice was too light, too casual. Maui, I repeated, pulling out my phone. How was your dream vacation, the one you paid for with my $37,000, the money you needed for bills? My dad's face went pale. Burr. I saw the photos, I continued, my voice eerily calm. All of them, the beach, the luau, the boat tour, the fancy dinners, looks like you had a great time, hope it was worth it. It's not what you think, my mom started, but I cut her off. Really? Then what is it? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you stole my life savings, lied to my face about needing it for bills, and then went on a luxury vacation. So please, Mom, tell me what I'm missing. The silence that followed was deafening. And that's when I knew this wasn't over, not even close. This was just the beginning of the war. My mother's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. My dad set down his phone and I watched his jaw tighten, that thing he did when he was about to get defensive. You're being dramatic, he said finally. We were going to tell you. Tell me? I laughed, and it sounded bitter even to my own ears. When, before or after you posted 50 photos on Facebook bragging about your dream vacation? We needed this trip, my mom said, her voice taking on that pleading quality. Your father and I have been under so much stress, we haven't had a real vacation in 15 years. So you stole mine. We didn't steal anything, my dad's voice rose. That money was in a joint account, legally. I don't care about legally, I shouted back, and both of them flinched. I never shouted. I was the good daughter, the quiet one, the responsible one. You knew that money was for my future, you knew I was planning to move, you knew, and you took it anyway, and you lied about why. We were going to pay you back, my mom insisted, tears forming in her eyes. Those tears used to work on me, used to make me feel guilty for being upset, not anymore. With what money? You just spent it all on Maui. How much did that trip cost? Flights for two, a week at a resort, all those activities that had to be at least $10,000, maybe more. The look on my dad's face told me I was right, maybe even lowballing it. We deserve to enjoy our lives too, he said defensively. We've worked hard, raised you, put a roof over your head for 22 years. And I've been paying you rent for the last 4 years, I shot back. $300 a month, that's $14,000 I've given you, on top of buying my own food, paying my own phone bill, my own car insurance. Don't act like I've been living here for free. It's still our house, my dad said coldly. And you're still our daughter. What we do with our money is our business. Your money, that was my money. I earned every single dollar of that. And we gave you life, my mom cried. We clothed you, fed you, paid for your school supplies, your field trips, That's called being a parent. I was shaking now, fury coursing through every vein. You don't get to bill me for doing the bare minimum. You don't get to cash in 18 years later by stealing my savings. Watch your tone, my dad warned. Or what? You'll take more from me. There's nothing left to take. We stood there, the three of us, in this horrible triangle of broken trust and resentment. The living room suddenly felt like a battlefield. The same room where we used to watch movies together, where we'd opened Christmas presents, where I'd fallen asleep on the couch during family game nights. All those memories felt contaminated now. I want you to know something, I said quietly, and something about my tone made them both go still. Everyone's going to find out what you did, your church friends, the neighbors, Dad's little league families, everyone. My mom's face went white. You wouldn't. Watch me. Amber, my dad said, his voice taking on a dangerous edge. If you try to embarrass us publicly, there will be consequences. Consequences? You mean like having your entire future stolen, those kinds of consequences? We could kick you out, he said bluntly. right now, tonight, see how you like trying to make it on your own with no money and nowhere to go." The threat hung in the air between us, and for a moment, just a moment, I felt that old fear, the fear of being alone, of having nothing. But then I remembered those photos, my parents grinning on a beach I'd never see, living a dream they'd paid for with my nightmares. "Do it," I said, "kick me out, that'll look great when I tell everyone why." We stared at each other, locked in this awful standoff. Finally, my mom broke the silence. "Please, Amber, please don't do this. We made a mistake, okay? We shouldn't have taken the money without asking, but going public trying to ruin our reputation, that's cruel. We're your parents." "You're right," I said, "you are my parents, and that makes what you did so much worse." I turned and walked back upstairs, leaving them standing there with their luggage and their guilt and their stupid vacation tans. That night I lay in bed making plans, real plans this time, not dreams, concrete steps toward getting out of this house and away from these people who shared my DNA but clearly didn't give a damn about my future. First, I needed money, fast. The part-time hours at Riley's weren't going to cut it. I spent 3 hours on my laptop applying to every job I could find, retail warehouses, call centers, anything that was hiring. I needed full-time work with actual benefits. Second, I needed a place to stay. I couldn't afford an apartment on my own, not anymore. But maybe I could find a roommate situation, something cheap. I didn't need much, just a door I could lock and people who wouldn't rob me blind. Third, and this was the part that made my stomach twist with both anxiety and satisfaction, I needed to decide how public to go with the truth. My finger hovered over the Facebook app on my phone. I could write a post right now, tag my parents, share the screenshots, let everyone see what David and Janet Mitchell had really been up to in Maui. But something held me back, not mercy, I was fresh out of that, strategy. If I went nuclear immediately, my parents would just deny everything, they'd spin it, make me look like the problem. "She's just upset because we couldn't give her more money, she's always been dramatic, she's having some kind of breakdown." No, if I was going to do this, I needed to be smart. I needed evidence they couldn't deny. I needed to make it so airtight that they couldn't wiggle out of it with their charm and their lies. I spent the next 2 hours going through everything systematically. Bank statements downloaded and saved, screenshots of their Facebook posts organized by date, text messages where they'd lied about bills backed up to my cloud storage. I even found the email they'd sent me 6 years ago when we opened the joint account where they'd promised it was just for emergencies. I guess dream vacations counted as emergencies now. By 2 a.m. I had a complete file, every piece of evidence, every lie, every dollar accounted for. But I still didn't post it, not yet. Because I had a better idea. The next morning, I went to see my grandmother. Grandma Rose, my dad's mother, lived 20 minutes away in a little cottage she'd bought after Grandpa died. She was 82, sharp as a tack, and didn't take crap from anyone, including her son. She answered the door in her gardening clothes, dirt on her knees, a sun hat covering her white hair. "Amber," her face lit up. "What a lovely surprise. Come in, I just made lemonade." I followed her into the kitchen, that familiar space with its yellow curtains and the cookie jar shaped like a hen. How many afternoons had I spent here as a kid, eating cookies and listening to Grandma's stories? "You look terrible," she said bluntly, pouring me a glass. "What's wrong?" And just like that, I started crying. I hadn't planned to. I'd planned to be calm, collected, to lay out the facts systematically. But sitting there in Grandma Rose's kitchen, smelling the lemon and seeing the concern on her wrinkled face, everything just broke open. I told her everything, the savings account, the transfer, the lies about bills, the Maui photos, the confrontation, the threats, all of it came pouring out in this messy, tear-soaked confession. Grandma Rose listened without interrupting, her expression growing darker with every word. When I finally finished, she set down her lemonade with a sharp clink. "That son of mine is a damn fool," she said. "And Janet, I always knew she was a social climber, but this is beyond the pale." "They said it was legal," I sniffled, "that they had every right to the money." "Legal doesn't mean right." Grandma Rose reached across the table and gripped my hand. What they did was theft, pure and simple. I don't care what the bank says. I don't know what to do, I admitted. I want to expose them, but I'm scared. They threatened to kick me out. They won't. How do you know? Grandma Rose smiled, and it wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who'd lived long enough to know exactly where bodies were buried. Because I know things about your father that he definitely doesn't want public. And if he tries to throw you out, I'll make sure every single person in this town knows what kind of man he really is. I stared at her. What things? Let's just say your father's little league coaching came with some inappropriate spending of team funds a few years back. Nothing criminal, he paid it back before it became a real problem, but definitely embarrassing. And your mother's church volunteer work, she got removed from the finance committee for some creative bookkeeping that almost got them audited. My jaw dropped. Are you serious? Deadly? They've been skating on thin ice for years, putting on their perfect family act. I've kept quiet because they're family, and what's the point of airing dirty laundry? But if they want to play hardball with my granddaughter, she squeezed my hand harder. Game on. For the first tee. Me in weeks I felt hope, real hope. What should I do? First, you're going to move in here. I've got a spare bedroom and Lord knows this house is too big for just me. Second, we're going to have a family meeting. Me, you, and your parents. And they're going to agree to pay you back with interest, or I'm going to make their lives very, very uncomfortable. Grandma, I can't ask you to. You're not asking, I'm offering. That money was yours, you earned it, and I'll be damned if I let my son become the kind of man who steals from his own child. She stood up, wiping her hands on her gardening apron. Go home and pack a bag. You're staying here until we sort this out. What about Mom and Dad? Let them stew. They just got back from paradise. They can survive a few days of hell. I moved into Grandma Rose's spare bedroom that afternoon. It was small but clean, with a quilt on the bed and lace curtains on the windows. It smelled like lavender and old books, nothing like my room at my parents' house. My parents called 4 times. I didn't answer. They texted, "Where are you? We need to talk." Amber, this is ridiculous. I blocked their numbers. Grandma Rose called them instead. I could hear her side of the conversation from the kitchen. Yes, she's here. No, you can't talk to her because she doesn't want to talk to you, David. What did you expect after what you did? I know exactly what you did, every detail, and we're going to have a family meeting to discuss it. Sunday, 2 p.m. here, both of you. I don't care if you have plans, cancel them, unless you want me to start making phone calls to some very interested parties. That's what I thought. Sunday, don't be late. She hung up and turned to me. They'll be here. How do you know? Because your father knows I'm not bluffing, and because underneath all that bravado he's afraid of me, she grinned, always has been. The next few days passed in a strange limbo. I went to work at the diner, came back to Grandma's, and tried not to think too hard about Sunday. Grandma Rose kept me busy with cooking and gardening and stories about her own life, her own struggles, her own battles with people who tried to take advantage of her. The world's full of takers, she told me one evening as we planted tomatoes. Even in families, especially in families, people think blood gives them the right to use you, but family should be the people who build you up, not tear you down. Did Grandpa build you up? She smiled softly. Every single day, for 47 years. When he died, I thought I'd die too, but you know what I realized? He built me up so strong that even without him I could stand on my own. That's what real love does. It makes you stronger, not weaker. I thought about my parents, about how instead of making me stronger, they'd stolen my foundation right out from under me. I don't think I can forgive them, I said quietly. Then don't. Forgiveness isn't required. What's required is justice, and boundaries, and making damn sure they never do this to you again. Sunday came too fast and not fast enough. At 1:55 p.m., my parents' car pulled into Grandma Rose's driveway. I watched from the window as they got out, both of them looking uncomfortable. Good. Grandma Rose had set up the living room like a boardroom, 4 chairs arranged in a circle. A folder on the coffee table. She'd had me print out everything. Bank statements, Facebook screenshots, texts, emails, the whole damning pile. Let's get this over with, she said, and opened the door. My parents walked in like they were heading to an execution. Maybe they were. Sit, Grandma Rose commanded. They sat. I sat across from them, Grandma Rose beside me like a lawyer beside her client. "We're here to discuss the $37,000 you stole from Amber," Grandma Rose began without preamble. "And before you start with your excuses, let me be clear, I know everything, every lie, every receipt, every dollar." She opened the folder and started laying out papers like evidence at a trial. My parents' faces grew paler with each page. "Here's what's going to happen," Grandma Rose continued. "You're going to pay Amber back, all of it, with interest. 5% annual interest for however long it takes you to repay her. You're going to set up a payment plan, I'm thinking $1,000 a month minimum, and you're going to stick to it. Miss one payment and this," she gestured to the evidence, "goes public." "We can't afford $1,000 a month," my dad protested. "Should have thought of that before you spent it on Maui," Grandma Rose said coldly. "Sell the boat you never use, sell Janet's jewelry collection, downsize, I don't care how you do it, but you'll do it." "This is extortion," my mom whispered. "No, dear, this is parenting, something you two seem to have forgotten how to do." I sat there silent, watching my parents squirm. Part of me wanted to feel bad for them, that old instinct, that goo. D-daughter training. But then I remembered their faces in those vacation photos, their smiles, their lies. And I felt nothing but cold satisfaction. "We need time to think about this," my dad said. "You have 5 seconds, then I start making calls. I'm sure Pastor Michael would be very interested to know how the Mitchells funded their luxury vacation. And the Little League board, they'd love to hear about your history with team funds, David." My dad's face went red. "You wouldn't. Try me." The silence stretched out like taffy. Finally my mom broke. "Fine, we'll pay her back $1,000 a month." "With interest," Grandma Rose reminded her. "With interest," my mom agreed, her voice hollow. "Amber," Grandma Rose turned to me, "is this acceptable to you?" I looked at my parents, really looked at them, at the people who'd given me life and then tried to take it away, at the strangers wearing my parents' faces. "Yes," I said, "but I want it in writing, a contract signed and notarized." "Done," Grandma Rose said. "I'll draft it this week, you'll both sign it by Friday." My parents nodded, defeated. "And one more thing," I added, surprised by the steadiness of my own voice. "I never want to live in your house again. You're not my safe place anymore. You're not my family. You're just people who owe me money." My mom started crying, real tears this time, not the manipulative kind. "Amber, please." "No," I cut her off. "You made your choice in May, when you saw that money and decided a vacation was more important than your daughter's dreams, when you looked me in the eye and lied, when you chose yourselves over me. You don't get to cry now." I stood up. "I'll expect the first payment by the end of the month, don't be late." And I walked out of the room, leaving them there with their guilt and Grandma Rose's steely glare. I went outside to the garden, to the tomato plants we'd planted, and I breathed. For the first time in months, I could actually breathe. That night, lying in the spare bedroom at Grandma's house, I got a text from an unknown number. "This is your cousin Rachel. Heard what happened. I'm so sorry, just wanted you to know you're not alone. Your parents did something similar to me 5 years ago, asked to borrow money for an emergency and never paid it back. I never told anyone because I was embarrassed, but you're brave for standing up to them. Good luck." I stared at that message for a long time. Then another text came, from another cousin, then a message on Facebook from a family friend. Apparently word was spreading. And apparently my parents had a history I'd never known about. By midnight, I had 7 messages from various relatives and family friends, all with similar stories. Small amounts, usually 1,000 here, 500 there, always with an excuse, always with a promise to pay it back. Never repaid. My parents weren't just thieves, they were repeat offenders. And suddenly I realized something. This wasn't just about getting my money back. This was about making sure they never did this to anyone else. I opened my laptop and started a new document. Time to tell the whole story. The real story. Because my parents were about to learn a very important lesson: you can steal someone's money, but you can't steal their voice. And I was done being silent. By Monday morning, I'd made my decision. I wasn't just going to get my money back, I was going to make sure everyone knew the truth about David and Janet Mitchell. Not out of revenge, though I won't lie, that was part of it, but because 7 other people had trusted them and been burned. 7 people who'd stayed silent out of embarrassment or family loyalty. Someone had to break the cycle. I spent all of Monday refining my post, writing, deleting, rewriting. It needed to be perfect, factual, unemotional enough that no one could dismiss it as a tantrum, but honest enough that people would feel the betrayal. Grandma Rose read it over my shoulder as I typed the final version. "You sure about this?" she asked, but there was pride in her voice, not doubt. "I'm sure." "Then post it, and don't you dare apologize for telling the truth." I took a deep breath and hit publish. Facebook post Tuesday 9:47 a.m. I need to share something that's been eating me alive. For those who saw my parents' recent vacation photos from Maui and thought how wonderful, I need you to know how that trip was funded. For 6 years, I saved every penny I could, $37,891. That money was supposed to be my future, my move to Seattle, my education, my independence. My parents were joint holders on the account just for emergencies. On May 12th, they transferred $37,000 out of my account without asking. When I confronted them, they said it was for bills, for the mortgage, for medical expenses. They looked me in the eye and told me they were struggling financially. 2 weeks later, they were in Maui. They spent my life savings, money I earned through years of hard work, on a luxury vacation. Then they threatened to kick me out when I said I'd tell people the truth. I'm not posting this to be cruel. I'm posting this because after I told a few family members what happened, 7 people reached out to me with similar stories. Small loans that were never repaid. Emergencies that turned out to be wants, not needs. A pattern of behavior that's been going on for years. I'm posting this because silence protects abusers, and yes, financial abuse from parents is still abuse. I'm posting this because maybe someone else out there is being manipulated by family members who use guilt and obligation to take what isn't theirs. To my parents, you raised me to be honest, to work hard, to take responsibility for my actions. I learned those lessons well. This is me taking responsibility for my truth and working hard to make sure you can't do this to anyone else. To everyone else, think twice before you trust someone just because they seem nice at church or volunteer at Little League. Some people are very good at playing the hero in public while being the villain at home. I've attached the full documentation, bank statements, screenshots, everything. I'm not hiding. I'm not ashamed. I'm done protecting people who hurt me just because they're family. Blood doesn't give you the right to bleed someone dry. I attached every piece of evidence, every screenshot, every receipt. Then I tagged my parents, my Aunt Linda, who'd posted the original vacation photos and made the post public. And I waited. The first comment came within 2 minutes. Then 5 more. Then 20. Then it exploded. By noon, the post had been shared 43 times. By 3 p.m., over 200 shares. People from my high school, from my dad's work, from my mom's church, from the Little League families, everyone was seeing it. In the comments, the comments. I can't believe this. I've known Janet and David for 10 years. This is heartbreaking. This happened to me too. They borrowed $800 for a car repair 3 years ago, never saw it again. Those vacation photos make so much more sense now. I wondered how they afforded it. Amber, you are so brave for speaking out. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'm removing David from the Little League board immediately. This is unacceptable. Pastor Michael needs to see this. The church finance committee has to know. My phone started ringing, friends I hadn't talked to in years, relatives, even a local news reporter asking if I'd be willing to be interviewed. I ignored most of them, but I did answer when Riley from the diner called. Kid, he said, I just saw your post. Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. Listen, I've got a full-time position opening up next week. Day shift, better tips. It's yours if you want it. Really? Really, what your parents did? That's not right. Let me help how I can. I almost cried. Thank you, Riley. Thank you so much. Thank me by showing up ready to work. And hey, you need a recommendation for apartments? I know a guy who rents rooms cheap, clean, safe. I'll text you his number. After we hung up, I sat there staring at my phone, overwhelmed. The post was working. People were believing me, supporting me. More importantly, they were holding my parents accountable. At 4:17 p.m., my mom tried to call. I didn't answer. At 4:23 p.m., she texted, "How could you do this to us? You've humiliated us in front of the entire town. Our friends won't talk to us. Your father got suspended from coaching. I got asked to step down from the church committee. You've ruined our lives." I stared at that message for a long moment, then I typed back. "You did this to yourselves. I just told the truth. If the truth ruins your lives, maybe you should have lived differently." I blocked her number again. Wednesday morning, Grandma Rose made me pancakes. "Your parents showed up at 6 a.m., she said casually, flipping a pancake, banging on the door, demanding to talk to you. I told them you weren't interested, and if they didn't leave, I'd call the police." "What did they say?" "Your father called me a vindictive old witch. I told him he got that half right. I am old," she grinned. "Then I told them they have until Friday to sign that contract or I'm adding my own post to yours with all the family secrets I've been keeping for decades." "Did they leave?" "Eventually, but not before your mother cried on my porch for 20 minutes, kept saying you'd destroyed them, that they'd never be able to show their faces in town again." Something twisted in my chest, not quite guilt but close, some remnant of the daughter I used to be, the one who hated seeing her mother cry. "Grandma, did I go too far?" She set down the spatula and came to sit across from me, taking my hands in her weathered ones. "Listen to me, Amber, what you did took courage, real courage, not the kind they give out medals for but the kind that changes things. Your parents have been skating by on charm and manipulatio. And for years you didn't destroy them, you held up a mirror. If they don't like what they see, that's not your fault. But everyone's talking about them, the whole town knows. Good, maybe it'll make other people think twice before they trust blindly, maybe it'll make your parents actually change, or maybe it won't. But either way, you told your truth, and that matters more than their reputation." I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. I never thought it would feel like this. "Like what?" "Like I'm the one who broke our family." "Oh, honey," Grandma Rose squeezed my hands. "They broke it when they stole from you, you just stopped pretending it wasn't broken." Thursday afternoon, I got a message from my cousin Rachel, the one who'd first reached out with her own story. "Amber, I did something, I hope you're not mad. I started a GoFundMe for you to help you get back on your feet while you're waiting for your parents to pay you back. It's already at $3,000. People want to help." I clicked the link she sent. There it was, "Help Amber rebuild her stolen future." The description told my story, a condensed version, and explained that I was trying to save up again to move to Seattle and start my life. There were dozens of donations, $20 here, $50 there. Someone had donated $500 with the note, "From someone whose parents did something similar. This is for all of us." I sat on Grandma's couch and cried, not sad tears, not angry tears, grateful tears. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt less alone. By Friday morning, the GoFundMe was at $8,000. Riley had given me the full-time position and a raise. The landlord he'd recommended had a room available for $400 a month, utilities included. And my parents' lawyer, yes, they'd hired a lawyer, had sent Grandma Rose a signed contract agreeing to pay me back $1,000 a month with 5% interest. Things were actually working out. The contract signing happened at Grandma Rose's kitchen table on Friday at 2 p.m. My parents, their lawyer, me, and Grandma Rose. A notary public sat at the head of the table, official and impartial. My parents looked awful. My dad had bags under his eyes. My mom's hair wasn't styled, something I'd never seen before. She always had perfect hair. They couldn't look at me. The lawyer laid out the contract. 4 pages of legal language that boiled down to, they owed me $37,000 plus interest, to be paid in monthly installments of $1,000, with the full balance due within 4 years or immediately if they missed 2 consecutive payments. My clients would like to state for the record that they believed this money was a family loan, not a theft, the lawyer said stiffly. Your clients can state whatever they want, Grandma Rose said. Doesn't make it true, are they signing or not? The lawyer looked at my parents. My dad grabbed the pen and signed, his jaw tight. My mom hesitated, tears running down her face, but finally signed too. The notary stamped it, official, legal, binding. First payment is due May 30th, Grandma Rose said. Don't be late. My parents stood to leave. My mom turned to me at the door, her voice broken. I hope you're happy, Amber. You got what you wanted. You destroyed us. And for the first time since this all started, I felt absolutely certain of my response. No, Mom, I survived you. There's a difference. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Then she and my dad walked out, the lawyer trailing behind them. The door closed, silence filled the kitchen. How do you feel? Grandma Rose asked quietly. I thought about it, really thought about it. Free, I said finally. I feel free. 3 months later. The first payment arrived on May 30th, exactly $1,000 deposited into a new account, one only I could access. The second payment came on June 30th, on time. July 30th, on time. My parents never contacted me directly. Everything went through their lawyer to Grandma Rose to me, clean, professional, cold. I was fine with cold. The GoFundMe ended up raising $12,847. Combined with my new full-time job at the diner and the payments from my parents, I was actually ahead of where I'd been before they took the money. In August, I moved into that room Riley had recommended, small, clean, with a window that overlooked a little garden. It was a 10-minute walk from Grandma Rose's house, close enough to visit, far enough to be independent. In September, I enrolled in online graphic design classes, not the fancy Seattle program I'd dreamed about, but a legitimate certificate program I could do while working. Different path, same destination. I updated my Facebook post once in late September. 3 months ago, I told a story that changed my life. I want to give you all an update. My parents are paying me back as contracted, every month on time. I have a full-time job with benefits and coworkers who have become friends. I have a room of my own in a safe place. I'm enrolled in school, pursuing my dreams just on a different timeline. The GoFundMe you all contributed to gave me a safety net I never thought I'd have. Thank you doesn't feel like enough. To everyone who shared their own stories of financial abuse, you helped me realize I wasn't alone. You helped others realize they're not alone either. To the people who said I was cruel for exposing my parents, I respect that you see it differently, but I don't regret telling the truth. My parents and I don't have a relationship anymore. Maybe someday we will, maybe we won't. I'm okay with either outcome. I'm learning that family isn't just about blood, it's about who shows up for you when things are hard. Grandma Rose showed up, this community showed up, random strangers on the internet showed up. My parents didn't, and that tells me everything I need to know. I'm going to keep moving forward, keep building my life, keep being honest about my story, because maybe someone else out there needs to know it's okay to set boundaries with family. It's okay to demand accountability. It's okay to walk away from people who hurt you, even if you share their DNA. You're allowed to save yourself, even from the people who gave you life. Especially from them. 1 year later. I was sitting in Grandma Rose's garden on a Sunday afternoon when my phone buzzed, an email from my mom's address. I almost deleted it without reading, but something made me open it. Amber, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know I have no right to contact you, but I need to say something and I need you to know I mean it. I'm sorry. Not sorry that you were hurt by what happened, though I am. Not sorry that things got complicated, though they did. I'm sorry for what I did, for taking your money, for lying about why, for prioritizing my wants over your needs, for being the kind of mother who would steal her daughter's future. Your father and I have been in therapy, marriage therapy at first, but then our therapist suggested we each go individually too. I've been going for 8 months now. I've learned some hard things about myself, about patterns I've had my whole life, about using people, about entitlement, about the ways I justified my actions by telling myself I deserved things. I'm not telling you this to make you feel sorry for me. I'm telling you because I want you to know I'm actually trying to change, to be better, to be the mother I should have been all along. We've made 12 payments now. We'll keep making them until every penny is paid back. It's the least we can do. I see your posts sometimes. I see that you're thriving. I'm so proud of you, even though I have no right to be, even though I'm the one who almost destroyed it all. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking you to call me or see me. I'm just asking you to know that I'm sorry, really, truly sorry, and that if you ever do want to talk, I'm here, and I'll listen this time instead of making excuses. I love you, I always have. I just loved myself more, and I'm trying to change that. Mom. I read it 3 times. Then I closed the email and set my phone down. Maybe she meant it, maybe she didn't, maybe therapy was helping her, maybe it wasn't. But here's what I knew for certain: I didn't need her apology to move on. I'd already moved on, built a new life from the ashes of the old one. Her apology was for her, not for me. And I was okay with that. Everything all right? Grandma Rose asked, looking up from her tomato plants. Yeah, I said, and I meant it. Everything's fine. Because I had a job I liked, a roof over my head, school going well, money in the bank, money that was actually mine, friends who supported me, a grandmother who'd gone to war for me. I had a future again, a real one I'd built myself without their help, despite their hindrance. And that was enough. 2 years later. The final payment came through on May 30th. $12,000 deposited into my account, the remaining balance plus interest, paid in full 2 years early. With it came a note: paid in full, we're sorry, D&J. I stared at that notification for a long time. Then I transferred $5,000 of it into a college fund for my future, invested $10,000, kept the rest for emergencies. Real emergencies, not vacations. I never responded to the note. But the next day, I updated my Facebook post one final time. Final update: the debt has been paid in full, 2 years complete repayment with interest. To those who followed this story, thank you. Your support changed my life. To those who judged me, that's okay too. I understand it's easier to believe families don't do this to each other. I wish I still believed that. To anyone going through something similar, you're not crazy, you're not selfish, you deserve better, and it's okay to demand it. This chapter of my life is closed now. I'm moving forward. I hope my parents are too. I genuinely do, just not with me. Some bridges burn. For a reason, and that's okay. Take care of yourselves, protect your peace, trust your gut, and never ever feel guilty for setting boundaries with people who hurt you. Even family, especially family. This is Amber signing off. I'm 25 now. I have my graphic design certificate and a small freelance business that's actually making money. I still work part-time at the diner. Turns out I like it there, and Riley's like the dad I wish I'd had. I still live in that little room, though I'm saving for my own apartment now. Actually saving, no joint accounts this time. Grandma Rose is 85 and still fierce as ever. We have dinner together twice a week. She's teaching me to quilt. My parents sent a Christmas card last year. I didn't open it. They sent another one this year. I almost threw it away, but something made me open it instead. Inside was a photo of them, older now, grayer, and a simple message: we understand if you never want to see us again, but if you ever do, we're here, we love you, we're sorry. I put the card in a drawer. Maybe someday I'll respond, maybe I won't. But here's what I know: I don't need their love to be whole. I don't need their approval to be successful. I don't need their presence to be happy. I needed them when I was a kid, when I trusted them, when I believed family meant safety. But I'm not that kid anymore. I'm the woman who survived them, who told the truth when it was hard, who demanded accountability when it was easier to stay silent. I'm the woman who saved herself. And you know what? That woman is pretty damn strong. Sometimes people ask me if I regret posting that story, if I regret burning the bridge with my parents so publicly. I tell them the truth: the bridge was already on fire, I just stopped pretending it wasn't. And sometimes, burning bridges is the only way to light your path forward. My parents taught me a lot of things. They taught me to save money, to work hard, to be responsible. They just didn't realize they were also teaching me when to walk away, when to stand up for myself, when to choose my own future over their comfort. So no, I don't regret it, not for a second. Because that $37,000, it wasn't just money. It was my dream, my freedom, my proof that I could build something worth having. And when they took it, they taught me the most valuable lesson of all. Sometimes the people who give you life aren't the ones who help you live it. And that's okay. Because you can save yourself. You can rebuild. You can thrive. Even when the people who should have protected you are the ones you need protection from. 2 years ago, I thought my life was over, thought they'd destroyed everything. But they didn't destroy me, they didn't even slow me down. They just showed me what I was capable of surviving. And honestly, that might be the only gift they ever gave me that was actually worth something. If this story resonated with you, please share it. Not for me, but for someone else out there who needs to know they're not alone, who needs to know it's okay to set boundaries, who needs permission to save themselves. You deserve better, don't ever forget that. And to my parents, if you're reading this, I hope you found the peace you were looking for. I hope therapy helped. I hope you're better now. But I'm better without you. And I'm finally okay with that. Thank you for following Amber's story to the end. If you believe in holding people accountable, even family, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real stories about survival, boundaries, and finding your strength. And comment below, have you ever had to choose yourself over family? You're not alone. Until next time, protect your peace, trust your gut, and never apologize for saving yourself.